Hey Kawans, and welcome to session 10 of SMAdulting, the last session of season 1. We're going to be talking about money, and it's funny because I didn't expect the budget announcement for Malaysia to be today when we scheduled it, to be honest. It was a surprise. I didn't even know. I wasn't even paying attention. I was doing my physio, and then my physiotherapist was like, hey, they're doing the budget today, right? And I'm like, wait, what? Who's doing the budget? And he's like, oh, the PM. And I'm like, oh shit, that's today. Okay. So I don't know what's going on. I didn't watch the budget announcement. I will be waiting for the infographics and the wordy pieces of PDF to come to me, and I will read it because honestly, I don't understand how flowery his words can get, and I'm like, I don't want to deal with that. Um Anyway, here with me are my compatriots and fellow spinal muscular atrophy afflicted women, Joyce and Aina. Say hi.
Hi. Hi,
Um,
everyone.
yeah. This we're gonna be not streaming and talking about stuff for I think until I don't know November, and then we'll start with season 2, and then we'll think of something. Anyway, this session, we're going to be talking about money. Now, I want to talk about money because it seems that people think being disabled means living the easy life. And I don't mean physically, I mean like because the government, quote unquote, gives us free money, we get to live free. No. I am here to tell you that they don't give us free money. And if they do, it's not really free because we have to jump through many hoops. We have to sort of turn ourselves into a little marionette, into a puppet, to entertain them first, to prove that we need the funds to survive. So no, we don't have free money. Although I do think we should begin implementing universal basic income. I know a lot of countries are discussing it. I know Canada is trying to push forward with it. I'm a huge fan of it, and liberating people from the oppressive state of capitalism and its psychopathic need for infinite growth, it's a good idea. We're moving towards a more mechanized workplace for the most part. Yes, this includes AI, and no, I'm not being dramatic. It's just not just factories now. Everybody can be replaced with mechanization. Um, so we need something to remain alive, functioning, doing human things. Anyway, I'm a big fan of Star Trek's idea of utopia, so I think that should be the most obvious first step, but we're not here to discuss UBI. You can Google that on yourself. There's so many people talking about UBI who are way smarter than I am, and way better at explaining why it works. So I'm not going to go into that. We are here to discuss what we have right now in Malaysia, which is to toil or suffer. I'm going to start light and ask my friends, if money weren't a thing and we could do anything in the world, what would it be? I ask that because there's so many places I want to go to, but to get simple things like accommodation sorted is wildly difficult. For example, we have to do the planning. There's a lot of people that we have to call. We have to consider the other person that we have to bring. For example, a helper or a significant other. If you don't have a significant other, you have to pay for someone, which doubles the costs incurred for yourself to be able to travel. Um, who pays for all that? I don't know. I'm not interested in that. Anyway, what do I want to do if money weren't an object? I want to go see some music festivals. I have various architectures to go check out. I want to ooh and ah at museums and eat all the food from all of the places. I have so many things to eat, and I'm so excited about it. But to do that, I need to travel. What about you guys?
The question?
The question is, what would you do if money was not an object?
What you do if money was not an object?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Uh, but money is an object, right? No? I don't quite get the concept. What do you mean by if money is not an object?
Okay, if money didn't exist.
If money didn't exist, I think it would be messy because then they would have to use the
No, 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 no.
modern.
Let's not consider whether or not people need income and
Okay.
trade and the idea of bartering or currency. If everything was free and easy and we live in a world much like one in Star Trek, where you do things because you want to do things and you have the ability to do whatever you want.
Okay, then that's easy. If money wasn't an object, I think I would be doing a lot of stuff in music and literature.
Mm-hmm.
I think as well as linguistics.
Ah,
Uh, so I guess when there's no limitations, you can practically have access to every single thing that you're interested in.
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And for me, so yeah, you would probably find me in that world, the world of art, literature, music, and linguistics.
Nice. I think these are all very good options. Again, coming back to universal basic income, a lot of people are like, "Oh, if you give people free money, they don't want to work." And I'm like, "I don't think you understand how humans function. We never stop doing things." So I sort of hear you when you say if you had the ability to do anything, money notwithstanding, or money doesn't exist, it would be in the arts, it would be creation, it would be fruitful to the community. What about Aina?
I want to go travel the world.
Exactly. Traveling is so good.
Wow.
There's so
Yeah,
many
and see all the
cultures.
cultures, see
Like,
the cultures, their food,
mm,
and we stay there for a few months and then move to the next country.
right, right, right. Oh my God. I want to do that. I want to do that. Um, Before COVID, I had a plan to go to Spain and France. Well, France first and then Spain, but we're going to stop at Switzerland, and then COVID happened. So I couldn't do Hellfest, I couldn't do the Montreux Jazz Festival, and I couldn't go to Spain to go check out the Alhambra, which I so love because that's my favorite thing when I was in uni. Like my lecturer, Resisol, the late Andrea Mina, taught us about how much he loved this piece of architecture, this historic piece called the Alhambra, and that love sort of filtered down into his students, and one of their students is me, and I just want to be there because it's such a beautiful, historic, lots of stories in there. Like I wanted to run like a D&D game with that as a dungeon. I totally could. Um, but music festivals, but yeah, like money stops you from doing that, I feel.
Mhm.
Which is why I want to ask both of you questions about it. May I ask, what are your relationships with money? And would you say you're good with money?
Hmm.
Right, such a complicating question. Complicated. Um, my relationship with money is very negative. I like to control money. I'm a hoarder. I'm like a dragon. I sit on my gold and I never want to spend it because I'm always afraid of what happens if I'm in trouble. I don't want to spend because I want the ability to have a nest egg in case I need to pay for an extra thing. Like if I go get into an accident, I need to be able to pay for that. So I'm very, very the Malay word for it is klepet. I don't remember what the English word for it is. But yeah, what's your relationship with money? Like, is it a good relationship, bad relationship? I don't
You
believe anybody has an ambivalent relationship with money.
mean frugal? The word for it?
Uh, it's worse than frugal.
Oh,
It's like it's
nicer?
like too, yeah, like miserly, like very
Oh,
miserly. Like I hate spending money.
oh. Okay, so talking about relationship with money, I'm kind of like you as well, but uh, I will spend on things that give me happiness. So
Mm,
I kind of buy my happiness
mm-hmm.
at times where I think it's appropriate or I think that I deserve a treat or a reward. Yeah, so most of the money is usually spent on food, and because I like eating nice stuff, expensive.
Oh, for sure, for sure.
So yeah, the relationship with money is sort of like on the saving side because due to the worry of anything happen and safety net go back into, but also indulging in worldly pleasures.
I mean, there's nothing
Yes,
wrong with that. Like we all have our vices, our security blankets, our hobbies. Oh, it's another reason why I don't like people going up to me and say, "Hey, you should monetize your hobbies." And I'm like, "No, I don't want to monetize my hobbies because I enjoy doing my hobbies. It has nothing to do with capitalism. It makes me happy, and if I put it as an income stream, I will hate it."
yes, that is true.
So yes, you were saying,
Sorry?
yeah. So all the food, um, um, what
Uh,
would your biggest expenditure be so far? Like for me, I think within January and February, my biggest expenditure would be games.
mm,
Like I've spent
uh,
a lot of money on games.
for me, more on caregiver.
Caregiver.
That takes up a huge chunk of my at least 70%.
Okay, I'm gonna pause you for a while. I think you need to sort of toggle your noise gate again lower because the first part of your sentence doesn't come out.
It's better.
Uh, we shall see.
Can you hear me? Is my voice clear or
Your
is
your
it?
voice is clear. It's just it cuts out in the beginning, which means
Uh
it's
huh.
not picking you up before
Oh,
that.
okay. I think it's
Yeah.
because of the setting. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Where did you last hear me?
I got the gist of it. It was just really uncomfortable to listen to, technically.
Yeah. Okay. It's about you you ask about where most of the money goes, and then I said that it's the caregiver part. It takes up a huge chunk of it,
Yeah,
like 70%.
especially since recently you did come into a little bit of trouble with getting a new caregiver. How's that going?
Uh,
Like you good? You right?
uh, doing good. Currently still adjusting, but doing fine, I guess, in a way. Because
Mm-hmm.
when you get a new caregiver, you have to like train them. It's like starting from zero again. So it's like you have to repeat everything every single day.
Mm-hmm.
And it really depends on whether the caregiver can pick up things fast or not. If they cannot pick up, then it's going to take, I think, around half a year
Ah,
the
okay.
most.
Yeah, I do not fault people for being able to pick things up quickly or not quickly as long as they're diligent. I hope Godspeed to
Yeah,
your care
thinking
to
that,
sort of synthesize everything.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that is expensive. That's another thing people don't think of. Like, oh, you're disabled, so you get all the monies. No, we're disabled. We need that money to pay for
Yeah,
other things that we need to
yeah.
live.
You know what? I noticed that a lot of people, when they see you with a caregiver, the first thing that comes to their mind is that, oh, you have a lot of money. You can afford a caregiver. And then you're like, what? I'm sorry. Is that how you perceive me as a rich person?
Exactly. Like, hold
And
up.
then,
You think we have caregivers for fun? Like,
yeah, it's like, yeah.
what
And
is
like,
happening?
I don't know. A lot of people are like that. They're like, oh, it's so nice to be you because you have a caregiver to serve you hand and foot 24 hours a day. And I'm like, bro, if you want, welcome to my life. I can swap bodies with
Oh
you.
my god, I would love to swap bodies with people.
And
Every time they go, oh yeah. Do you know what else happens when you have a caregiver? You are never alone.
yeah, you have no privacy.
Do you know how it feels like to never be alone? I'm an extrovert, but I need my alone time. Like, leave me the fuck alone. And if you have somebody hovering around you all the time because they
It's
need to
annoying.
help pick up things, they need to sort of assist you in moving. Imagine
Mm,
all the times you have to consider that one other person in your space. You no longer have your space, it's a shared space. Plus, it costs
yeah.
money. Oh my god. This is why I get so riled up when people talk about money. I'm very anti-capitalist. I say that and
Mm-hmm.
then people are like, "Oh yeah, but you still buy stuff." And I'm like, "Bitch, you can be anti-capitalist without feeding into the system. You still have to live on this planet." Damn. People are so black and white about all these things.
And the worst part is that they think that you're rich and then they expect you to like be okay with everything. Like, okay, let me give you an example.
Uh-huh.
Okay, okay, I've met this person before.
Mm-hmm.
This person is the wife of a friend,
Mm-hmm.
and because uh like he knows that I have a caregiver, and then because I used to rent
Mm-hmm.
the place together with her. So she's like, "Oh, you're so capable. Then it's not a problem for you." And then it's always like the expenses, like doing groceries. It's like expects you to like treat. And then
Hell no.
I'm okay with that. I mean, occasionally, but if like you're starting to demand that every single week groceries, that why I didn't buy your favorite veggie or something like that. And I think that's going a bit too far because he practically said that, oh, I'm not shy with you because I know that you can afford it.
What?
Like, what?
No. What? That is so entitled. What is this behavior?
I mean, I'm generous because I like to share because I know what it feels like to have nothing. So for me, sharing is a big thing for me. But and people take it to the point that you're being generous just because you have money to throw around, and I don't know what to say. I'm just like, I don't know. I just don't know. I'm
Like,
speechless.
oh my god. Okay, so I have one when I was a child, I was this person who would throw money at people in order to gain friends. And then I grew up and I realized I don't need friends like this. And when I meet people who live life being incredibly materialistic, I can smell them from a mile away and I don't like
That's
it.
good.
So I'm like, no, I'm not your friend. In my friend group, we have an unspoken rule. If I shout, I know for a fact that somebody else, when I say shout, I mean blanja, like we pay first. I know for a fact that somebody will pay for the next one. Like we're very sharing and nobody takes advantage of that, thankfully. But if somebody did, it's very open, like, yo, you haven't paid for your shit like the last 3 sessions. Come on, man. We're very open about money. There is nothing wrong about discussing what you have and what you don't have. It's not embarrassing. It's not supposed to be embarrassing because this is the life that we need to live in. But when people take advantage of you thinking that they can walk all over you, I question whether or not they do this because they think you're a pushover as well.
I don't know. I always get that. I always need this kind of. Yeah, I don't know why. Yeah, I don't know if it's my own problem or something like that. I'm not sure, but I tend to meet people who start to take things for granted, like caregivers, friends, and usually I will try to stay away from them or maybe even change, like, something else because I don't know why I attract people like that.
Do you
Maybe there's
ghost
something wrong
people,
with me.
or are you like upfront with them and say things like "I can't be friends with you anymore," or do you just
No,
disappear?
I'm like I'll start to distance myself. I won't say much. I won't go the extra mile anymore if I know that person is taking advantage of me or taking me for granted. And
Hmm.
sometimes I might even drop a sarcasm or two just to make them think about it. But if they're too thick-faced, then it's kind of impossible.
Hmm. Hmm. I feel like sarcasm is very difficult in this country in particular because some people don't understand sarcasm.
Not that they don't understand, they choose not to understand.
No, no, some people legitimately do not
No, some
understand
people don't
sarcasm.
understand. Mm-mm.
Yeah, like straight up they do not understand.
Okay.
It's very odd. Like probably not your ex-friend. I'm assuming she's that this person is an ex-friend now.
Yeah, sort
But
of.
that's wild. Like I think because I went through it really quickly, I built a lot of my boundaries when it comes to money very early on. Also because I'm very miserly, I don't like to spend money. So when somebody says, "Oh, you didn't buy my favorite vegetables," bite yourself.
What should I buy for you?
Exactly.
That's a that's a
Like
good question.
why?
I mean,
I
me, but
buy
the
with my own money what I want to eat. Why do I have to buy
uh,
things that you want to eat?
but the way that she asked was asked through the middleman, which is my caregiver. So the message gets passed through that way.
Oh yeah, that's even
It,
worse. That means you can ignore it. Like if it didn't come from the person, that means it wasn't said.
yeah, that's
Tough
why
shit.
usually I just ignore. I choose not to care. That's why I totally stopped buying anything they usually eat. I'm like, okay, from now on, I am just buying for myself, no more for you.
There was this one time, I was living with my friend in Australia, and we bought pizza, and I specifically left half of the pizza to eat for tomorrow. And then the first time it happened, she ate it, and then I was like, "Yo, why did you eat my pizza?" And she was like, "Oh, I was hungry." It was sharing lah, so it wasn't such a big deal. And the next time it happened, I covered it in chili because she cannot
Oh,
eat chili.
oh my god.
So she couldn't eat it. And I'm like, yes, this is how we do it. But that was very passive aggressive. Of course, when I came home, she was like, "You covered it in chili," and I'm like, "I don't want you to eat it."
Oh,
I
all right.
wish people were open to criticism. I wish people behaved like adults and spoke words instead of being passive aggressive. Um, I have so many good stories to share about living with my friend. She's so awesome. Um, but that's beside the point. Yeah, I don't think for the longest time I've ever had people taking advantage of my generosity. In fact, I think I'm taking advantage of everybody else's generosity because they have cars and I don't. And I am everybody's baby. It's like, pick me up.
Oh, okay.
Of course,
All
I pay
right.
for the toll sometimes.
There's one more. There's one more thing.
Uh-huh.
Oh, the funny thing is that buy the food for the person, like treat them to something, and they can say outright to your face that, oh, it doesn't taste nice because it's not expensive. I'm
What?
like,
It,
what?
okay, so I don't understand that. Some of the best foods I've had, I would consider makanan kampong, like village food, which is,
Yeah.
for lack of a better word, poor people food. That is hands down the best food I've tasted. rich people food, those fancy ass dining places are not worth shit. I will
Yes,
tell
that.
you this as a person who frequents them. Like, it's not worth it. It's just clout. You go there to show off.
Oh, you go
There's
there to just look at them plate the food.
yeah, plating is one thing. It's very rare that I see or go to a place that does all these omakases, and maybe omakase is less. Like omakase is like fresh food, so it's genuinely nice. It's just very expensive.
It's
Um
overpriced.
if we're looking at places with degustation menus, they are supposed to be an effort to showcase the chef's creativity in mixing flavors and textures, as well as plating. The soigné is real. But for the most part, everybody's serving the same thing, and it becomes like, why? Why are you eating this? It's so boring.
Don't
If
get
you
me started on beef Wellington.
be oh yeah, the whole beef Wellington thing. What was it? Gordon Ramsay's restaurant, 300 ringgit. I'm like, yo, what? What? Hey, it's a beef Wellington. There's nothing. It's literally makanan kampong orang putih.
Yeah.
Okay, there is nothing special about it.
You tried it? Not yet.
You can make it
I'm
at
gonna
home.
try
It's
it.
not that difficult to make. Like literally, is not difficult to make. You just need a chateaubriand. You need um pastry,
Pastry?
and you need to make the duxelle, which is just mushrooms. We have a lot of mushrooms. Like get a good piece of meat, slow roast it to perfection. Tastes better. Make it a
I don't know.
sandwich.
I don't know what's the hype about it.
It's kononya fancy for la, but honestly, it's very easy to make.
Yeah.
As a person who cooks regularly, so I might be kind of coming at this whole thing from a very biased perspective. I love food. I make food. I know how to make food, so I can criticize food. And that's the only reason why I learn about things, so I can be more effective at criticizing it when it's wrong. Anyway, I know. Any thoughts?
For me, like, okay lah, if I have money, I just spend it if I want. Because there's no point of keeping it. I don't want to be like my uncle, you know.
Mm-hmm.
He has a lot of money, but he
Mm-hmm.
never use it, you know, at all. Even not beli his favorite food or buy new clothes. Then he passed away. So who use the money? The kids too?
Yeah, see, I understand the idea of building wealth for the new generation, but at the same time, I agree with you. You should learn to have a lot of fun.
Yeah. If you have money, you can spend it on you go ahead. I don't keep it lah. He keep
Mm,
it until he die.
yeah.
Then no one gonna use it. So sayang.
Apa people always say, you can't take money to the grave.
Yeah, I know, right?
I mean, you can, but you can't use it lah, because you're dead.
So I understand when you are still alive.
Apa dia?
Just spend now when you're still alive. Just
Yeah, I
spend.
mean,
You want to
I
buy
mean,
food? Go buy food.
spend responsibly, consume responsibly.
Uh-uh.
Like, don't go all out and spend everything. Like people who are addicted to various things, right?
Yeah.
It's not my place to tell you how you live your life, but you know, we all have responsibilities. I'm not saying it's easy, but you know, self-control is a thing. Again,
True.
no shade to people who are actually struggling. Please, this is my opinion and my opinion alone. I'm speaking from my perspective. Like, if you have a different perspective, let me know. I am very, very open to hearing about your problems and discussing it from your point of view. But yeah, not using your money because, okay, so in my opinion, when somebody doesn't use their hard-earned money, it's because, like me, they're afraid for the future. But some people are even more afraid, so they hoard everything and they don't know how to have fun, or they they don't trust themselves, and they don't think that they are worth spending that money for. I know a lot of people who think, I will spend money for other people, but I will not spend money on myself. And I find it strange. Like, why don't you want to spend money to make yourself happy? Oh, because it's just not worth it. And I'm like, but why? But you are worth it. You worked hard for that money.
I used to be like that, but now I kind of like change whole
Mm-hmm.
mindset because I used to, like, wasn't worthy of being loved and I didn't love myself. So I used to think that way, but now I'm kind of like a bit better. And I start to know how to buy things for myself.
Mm-hmm.
Start to know how to enjoy. Like I start to think that hey, why not like enjoy life? Like work so hard and don't enjoy life, then what's the point?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So
So yeah, on
would you say you became better with money as you got older because of
yeah,
all the hardships?
I started to think that I started to tell myself that you feel that you're not worth loving, then what about those people who treated you like you were shit? And then I just myself that you were already treated like shit from young, so why do you still want to treat yourself like shit even till now?
Hey, truth, truth. Preach,
So I
sister.
kind of like, so I kind of like stopped, tried to stop thinking that way. Like I'm not worthy of buying things for myself, and I started to buy things for myself. Well, I buy stuff that I like, I want, and enjoy it. So it's like earning money and spending it properly on the right places.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah, that's
It's
pretty much it for me.
Yeah. There's a rhetoric going around where people who have money condemn people who have no money in a way where, oh, you should be saving. You should not be buying this and that and the other. And I'm trying to change my point of view. I used to be one of those people who are like, oh yeah, if you're poor, you should consider how you spend your money. And I'm like, they're poor. They can't live a shitty life just because they're poor. They need hobbies, they need other interests, they need to have fun to be able to live life. So that was like a really difficult perspective for me to come into because I am so hard on myself when it comes to money. But I also realized that I do not stop myself from having fun. Like that's an expenditure which I don't want to give up, to be honest. uh anyway, moving on. I want to talk about your daily living costs and general costs for being disabled. For example, wheelchairs and other mobility devices, like you mentioned just now, your carer, and other things like specialty foods or technologies that help you maintain a decent life, like the CPAP or BiPAP machine, cough assist, things like that. Like, what what is your you don't have to give me specific numbers, but how big is your yearly budget and how stressful does it make you feel?
Really
Hmm.
budget.
I forgot really budget, but I did use sliding total, but once it's broke, I need to think of where to get it, how to
Mm-hmm.
get it, because it's not available in Malaysia.
Mm-hmm.
It cost me about 600, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
per device. If it's broken, that'll be a problem.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I always stand by one, one unusable one spare lah.
Can
Like
you can you tell
but
me what that is?
it's like a scooter,
Mm-hmm.
but it's on the floor.
So
It
it's
helps
like
me
a
around the house.
mm-hmm. It's like a
Yeah.
skateboard but wider that you sit
Uh-uh.
on and move around on.
Yes.
Kind.
Yeah.
It's
What the
wild that they
plan?
don't have it
Honestly.
here.
Yeah. I have to import from US. Yeah. And they don't ship here if I want to order online.
It's the same with the stupid travel scoot. I love it to bits, but it's very difficult. It's very expensive, and
Mm.
the battery alone. So I got the smaller battery this year thanks to one of the people in the WCJ group. Lah, they went to Singapore, and this comes from Singapore. They finally
Oh,
got a new
that helps.
supplier, but that battery, which is the smaller gauge compared to the bigger one that I'm used to, um, sorry, the bigger watt hour one. Oh, how much was it? It's 3,600 ringgit for one small battery. 3,600 ringgit
God.
for me to be mobile. And we all know that lithium ion batteries do not have the greatest lifespan. I don't even know, like maybe 300 to 400 charges total, and then what? It goes into the bin and I have to find a new one. And I guarantee you, unless we have things like solid state batteries or other technologies that can replace this anytime soon, it's gonna get higher because it's more difficult to get lithium metal. Is lithium a metal? I don't know, but lithium very difficult to get. Yes. Uh, aside from that, like because it's lithium batteries, it cannot be flown from overseas, so you have to pick it up, which I find how
Difficult.
how like it's so scary. It's so terrifying, and the whole thing costs as much as like what like a Kanchil, a secondhand Myvi. And people joke about it. They're like, "Whoa, that looks so fun! I also want one." And I'm like, "I will break your legs, okay? Then you can get one yourself." Like this is not a joke. I'm thankful that the only thing I really have to worry about is the scooter. That's not including, travel, transport charges. Like if I want to go out, I have to think about it. Like I have to, do I really want to spend 63 ringgit going somewhere to and back? Like that's a lot of money for Grab, and that doesn't even consider the fact that Grab people can just reject and be like, I don't want to pick you up, you're disabled. I don't want to deal with that. That's another cost that people don't factor in. Like, oh, it's so easy. Your life is so easy. Your life is so easy. And I'm like, I wish we could swap lives. Then you will see how easy it is. But yes, like I'm on the easier half of the spectrum, and I think Joyce would be like on the harder difficulty because Aina, both of us, myself and Aina, are still living with our parents, so we have support from there. But Joyce, you are by yourself. You are independent.
Yes, and
Like,
on suicidal spectrum.
fun. Lots of gallows humor. Um, yeah, there's so many things that need to be dealt with, and it's
Yes,
always. Sorry, yeah, continue.
it's overwhelming.
Absolutely. There's so many things that we need to think about as well as a person with disabilities, with expenses. At this point, it's not just person with disabilities, a person with expenses, like insurmountable expenses, if we want to keep living or if we want to have like a decent life, not even a good life, a decent life. That tells you so much. It's nuts. It's nuts.
How people think I have it easy. Most of the people think I have it like, oh, she looks okay, she can handle it, no problem for her. So I know I don't look like I'm suicidal, but inside I'm really like falling apart to pieces because of financial strain sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
And like the main priority in life, like it mostly about money, about finding jobs like part-time jobs, freelance jobs, just to cover the costs and at least save up a bit for myself.
Mm-hmm.
So something that really depressing because you wake up every day, your focus is on work, 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 and then like you don't have a life. It's like you're just surviving to survive.
Mm-hmm.
You
And
get
this
what
is
I mean? So
also in part because as disabled people, as disabled women, it's very hard to find a good paying job that has the facilities that can support your disability. It's very, oh my god, it's terrible. Like I told people this multiple times. The only reason why I'm not working in an office under somebody else and the only reason why I had to open my own company is because I am not going to work for a company that doesn't have disability access, that doesn't have bathrooms that are accessible. I'm not going to hold my pee for 8 hours for a company that will yeet me into oblivion when they're done and then have me handle my kidney problems by myself. Like I'm not going to support that. I refuse. So we come from a very self started income generation community, for want of a better phrase, because I don't want to see the e word or entrepreneurs. Now we're just trying to live, yo. Trying to live in the realm of capitalism. It is horrible. I don't like it. I complain about it all the time. I bitch about it all the time because I want to do my stuff. I am very indulgent of my own needs, which I think a lot of people should be doing, like indulge themselves a little bit more. Have fun. Um, yes. I'm gonna take some of your questions actually, Joyce. Do you actually like money? Do we actually like money?
no,
I
I
don't.
don't like necessary.
Just that I need money to live.
Yeah, we need money to live, but we
Yeah,
don't actually like it. Like the institution of currency for trade is is ridiculous. It's stupid. People talk about Jual Biden, and I'm like, you also Jual Biden every day for money. Except instead of holes, your entire being is being sold into the corporate machine. I don't like money. I'm such a negative response when it comes to money. Don't get me wrong. We need money to survive, but I don't like it. So when I meet people whose main priority in life is money, I question them. Like, do you not have a personality? What is happening? Do you need to overcompensate by throwing money at things? What is happening? Interestingly enough. How have you been affected by money or lack thereof? Like, what's the worst situation when it comes
I
to
think
having money and then not having money?
um I think like it can be mentally depressing and damaging as well sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, for me, yes, it's mentally depressing and affects you emotionally and mentally, I guess, because I'm going through that right now. So it's affecting me. It's like my focus is just on uh, like trying to find a way to sustain
Mm-hmm.
myself, I guess. The focus is always there, and then you're like, the anxiety is always there, and on worrying like what if one day I cannot work? Like what if one day I just totally stop working? Then who's gonna pay for the caregiver? Who's gonna support me? Who's gonna pay for my rent? Who's gonna buy
Yeah.
groceries? Stuff like that.
Like the fear of becoming homeless is very, very real. Like a lot of people ask me, why don't you move out? And I'm like, okay, dude, if I need to move out, I need a carer. I need somebody else to live with me. And I have to support them. I am the breadwinner. And if anything goes south, like you mentioned, we become homeless. And that's a terrifying prospect. I don't want to become homeless. Like, I have so many needs as a disabled person. I literally cannot become homeless. Mm-hmm. Yes. I, I'm sort of thinking back to a conversation I had with someone about medical access, which involves money as well. Um,
Yeah.
we want to go to see a specialist, but for some reason, everybody's like, oh, you need to spend. That's just what you have to do. And I'm like, why? I don't want to spend 3 hours waiting for a person to tell me it's not going to work out. And then I pay them $300. That doesn't fly with me. That is absolutely ridiculous to me. And that is the medical system that we have now, because some of it is privatized. And I am here to prove people wrong. I'm here to tell you that privatization is not the be all and end all, does not fix anything. I'm directly talking to the ministers who want to privatize the medical institution in this country. You're fucked up. Don't. Like, don't do it. Don't be dumb. We'll see what happens with the budget, because I haven't read it. I hope they give more to the Ministry of Health this year. I don't know. I know the budget's big. It's like a lot of billions, like 100 billion or something like that, or 300 billion. But yeah, that pissed me off. Like, talking to this person, I almost cried because I don't know how to defend myself. Like, the fact that income is so hard to come by, so few and far in between, and we have to be so selective with who we work with, that throwing away $300 just to be rejected by a medical professional is wildly unacceptable to me. I don't know what kind of responses both of you had in a private institution, or whether it is similar to mine. Have you seen anyone about treatment?
Oh,
I did.
Oh, do you want to share some
And
stuff? No names, no locations, just vibes.
it was a smooth process. It
Mm-hmm.
wasn't unexpected.
Mm-hmm.
I thought they would charge more, but nah, it's fine. The
Mm-hmm.
charges is bearable. Not gonna say how much you can get.
Yes, yes.
And then yeah, just that the treatment.
I'm
I got a
glad.
question from someone that I know, just barely know lah.
Mm-hmm.
She asked me, when are you going to start the treatment? I'm like, if I got money, then I will start immediately.
Yeah, that's the thing, isn't
No
it?
money, no,
Like,
no money, no talk. Don't ask me, like, when is your first injection? When is gonna start? It's like, oh, come on. It's not like 50 ringgit. Okay lah, then can start
it's a
immediately.
lot of money. We're not gonna tell you how much, because I personally don't know, and
That's
I don't want
fair.
to throw Aina under the bus. Um, but it's a lot of money, and people are like, "Oh yeah, you can just take medication." You don't understand. You're talking about Spinraza, kan?
Mm-mm.
Yeah. So Spinraza, the first year you have to do 6 shots, and then consecutive years you do 4. If you miss one, you go downhill. Like, Why? Why would you want to spend money on the first one when you cannot continuously follow through? Like, it doesn't make sense to me. So that's another reason why I don't like this whole infinite growth of capitalism kind of thing, because the pharmaceutical companies are part and parcel of the problem. We are seeing this now in how COVID vaccinations are sort of being bought back by these companies to be sold at very high markups, very insanely high margins, just for them to profit, because they have shareholders to answer to. It's messed up. It's messed up.
I mean, yeah, we can see a lot of, I mean, the young kids, the young babies are doing crowdfunding then for the
Yeah, no,
treatment.
that is why I don't like. Okay, we're gonna talk about this for a while. Like, I don't like the idea of every time somebody needs life-saving treatment, we have to crowdfund. We already crowdfund. It's called taxes. And the people who are giving money are not even the people who have a lot of money. You know what I mean? Like, it's the people who are middle income or low income who's like, oh yeah, I'll give $2, I'll give 1 ringgit, I'll give 5 ringgit, I'll give 300 ringgit. And the people who actually have the money to spend are not doing anything. I don't, I cannot abide by it, because this is consecutive. This is going to happen every time. That
Yeah,
particular
it's
family. Yeah,
and it's never ending.
yeah, it's never ending. You have to take it every day. The drug that we're talking about, the treatment that we're talking about currently, being asked for crowdfunding, is daily oral medication. Daily oral medication, which means you have to take it every day. You know what happens when you don't? You backslide. But that's not the point. You have to take it every day, which means you have to keep paying for it. And if you couldn't pay for the first round, what makes you think you're going to be able to pay for the next round? You're going to keep asking for money. You're going to keep asking for help. When this should be covered, this should be addressed by the government that's supposed to be taking care of you. It should be within the budget instead of making huge mega structures that don't help anyone. I'm tangenting big time because I am so angry about this, because it's the same people. I'm happy that they're getting help. I am absolutely happy that they're getting help. But when you do crowdfunding, you're fatiguing the public. Eventually, they will not help anymore. And then what? What is your plan next? To let your kid go off medication? Okay? Question mark? Like, what is the plan? Like, this is the whole give a man a fish, teach a man a fish. Do both. But at this juncture, it's very hard to teach a man to fish when this is very specialized equipment. This is very specialized medication treatment. It's an orphan drug. So this boils again down to money, which is why I don't like money. I need money. I don't like it. But it's so stressful. Like, every time the post comes up and I'm like, oh, okay, we're doing another round now. It's been like
Yeah,
3
another
posts.
one.
Every 40 days they have to buy a new set, or they have to pay for a new set every 40 days. And we're not talking a small amount of money. We're talking tens of thousands of ringgit. Tens of thousands of ringgit. Think about it. And it's disgusting. It's disgusting that we're not getting the support that we need through the people that should be giving us the support. And it's also disgusting that people come up and say, your life is easy. I hate that phrase so much. Moving on. Since we're talking about daily living costs, general costs for being disabled, and we spoke about how it's just really hard to sort of consolidate where you stand as a person when you're disabled and have to be really miserly with your cash. Like what kind of trauma do you put yourself through? Like what kind of stresses? Like I like to go out and eat with friends. It's very hard for me to sort of willy-nilly go, okay, yeah, let's drop 500 ringgit on good food. Although I would, but very rarely. Because it just we need savings. What if I
Yeah,
need
it
to go
depends.
somewhere?
Yeah. I mean, like, we need to think twice or more than that to use money.
Mm, more than twice, sometimes 3 times, 4 times. We sleep for a week. Um, to consider it, like before making snap decisions, we think about it for an entire week. Like every time we wake up, we're like, should I really pay for this? When the answer is clearly no. But we stop ourselves from experiencing so many good things just because we're afraid. Just because we are not getting the amount of money that we need for a good life. Which tangentially, I'm gonna bring up Malaysia needs to step up its game. The Federation of what business owners, what was it, FME, Malaysian Association of Business Owners, something like that. Shut up. They're so it's they're like, oh yeah, people don't need to be paid more. It's very difficult. If not, they don't want to work. Yeah, 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 yeah. And I'm like, nah, stop. We need to raise minimum wage if we're still doing the wages thing. But again, universal basic income, my favorite thing to rant about. What else about money? Like, I've pretty much asked my questions. Do you have any of your questions about money or anecdotes that you want to share?
Thank you. That question.
Sorry?
For how do you manage your
How you
finance? Sorry.
Come again. I didn't hear you.
You guys can take a look at question number 4.
How do you manage?
finances?
How do you manage your
Oh.
finances? That's a good question. I have an Excel sheet, and I have a sort of like a maximum amount of money that I'm willing to spend per month, and I don't exceed that, or I try not to,
Hmm.
unless there is an emergency. An emergency is something that I don't want to go through. So I'm incredibly careful as a person to not be in a situation where I have to spend money. Like I'm so calculative in that sense. Like if I have to go somewhere, how much it's going to cost? How much time am I spending? Is it worth spending money on a Grab to spend 1 hour at a place? Is it? Most of the time the answer is no.
Pretty obvious.
But people don't think that way. They're like, why don't you use a bus? Because I'm scared. What if it rains? What if the bus has no space? What if the person drives away like they do with Joyce? Which is like, damn, the bus just left. What about trains? I would love to take the train. I'm a big fan of public transportation. But with trains, what if the lift runs out again? I don't want to be manhandled by 4 people who might break my stuff and break themselves in the process. Like, is it my fault? Yeah, questionable. It's not really my fault, but I'm a heavy person. Like, there's a lot of fear. I live life with a lot of fear.
Okay. You save?
I save. Yeah, I compulsively save because I like receiving my bank statement like, oh, you made this amount in investments, and I'm like, yes, yes, money, ha ha ha. I like money become big. I don't like money become small.
No one likes that.
Yeah, no one's like that.
You say that, but there are people who spend a lot of money on gachas. Like, you know those games like tataw that Chinese one, was it something Impact? Genshin Impact.
Uh-huh.
People spend money on that shit. And I'm like, why?
They're stupid.
They just love to play games. They don't care about money. Right?
Like,
It's not
why?
aware.
Or people
I
who gamble. Like, why?
don't know why,
Your
but
money
for me,
becomes small when you gamble.
yeah, like you're burning your money. I mean, like, there's one friend who used to like throw in like a few hundred ringgit every month into this mobile game, and then after that, he didn't play it anymore.
Yeah, it's so
Yeah.
fleeting. And the thing about mobile games or uh was it like things that live on the internet that don't have a physical copy. I can't think of the word right now, but good luck.
Virtual?
Yeah, virtual items or virtual products. You don't own that. You're merely borrowing it up until the time the company or the person who owns it decides to shut it down, and then it's gone. You never own it. It's not yours.
Yeah.
You're just casually borrowing it at the point. Not that I ascribe to everybody buying physical goods. Like, if you're a collector, sure, but just remember, you don't own virtual stuff.
So, hello, Aina. How do you manage your finances?
I read Excel too, and I set a certain amount. How much I want to spend,
Mm.
and I think that if no money, don't spend. It's the same thing. Or no matter how badly you want that thing, you got no money, don't spend.
Right?
Just forget about it.
It's a willpower thing. I know some few people who have no willpower. They'll see something in the shop, and they're like, "Oh, I need to
Oh
buy it." And
yeah,
I'm
I
like, "You
hate
don't
that.
have to. You don't need to. You're not gonna die if you don't buy it." And then they're like, "Yeah, yeah, you're right." And the next time I see them, they've bought it, and I'm like, "Bro, what?" It's not like you don't have money, but now you have an item and guilt, which is not great because the
And
thing
you
you bought is dumb. I'm sorry, but most of the time, like expensive handbags, dumb.
Yep.
I have a leather handbag that's gonna last me for years, and it cost me less than 200 ringgit, okay? Anything more than that, dumb. You know what a bag is used for? To put shit in. And to be used, not to be kept on a pedestal inside plastic or whatever it is. Inside the bag to showcase.
I bought a bag in 2015 for
Mm-hmm.
just only 30 ringgit. Only 30 ringgit. I haggled the price down to 30 ringgit, and then until up to date, I'm still using that bag. It's still good.
Mm-hmm.
So you
Exactly.
don't really need like an expensive bag with your stuff in.
I'm the opposite of the lot of money show off. Like people who come up to me and say, "Guess how much this is." I will always say something cheap because if they say anything more than like a reasonable amount of money, I will be like, "What the fuck is wrong with you, dude? Why did you spend that kind of money?"
Because they can. I mean, that's what they think. Because I can.
But why? It why? The the feeling somebody gets from a new purchase is extremely fleeting. So they're going to have to buy more and more things. And if you buy these things, who are you buying it for? most likely you're buying this because you're showing off to other people. If you have to show off to other people, grow a personality, man. What the frick? I don't understand. I hate capitalism. People are so materialistic. I don't understand. Am I old? Is it because I'm old?
Oh,
Ah!
it's because, oh, it's because you're not in the materialistic type.
It's horrible. Don't get me wrong. I like nice things. I like my shiny math rocks. My my dice collection. But they're cheap. They're like candy. You buy a few and then you keep it forever. And I haven't bought a dice for a year now, so it's fine. I don't understand. I don't understand why people want to show off things. They didn't even make it. They just bought it. They went to a shop and bought it. You don't need a lot of effort to do that. If you made the bag, I will clap. I'll be like, that is amazing and worth.
Why?
no.
Because people seek validation from society, so they want to fit in, and this is what happens.
A bunch of
Spend money
sheep.
to
Sheep.
people. That's what we call them, sheeple.
Yeah. Anyway, moving on.
Yeah, for me, it's like how I manage my finances. 70% goes to caregiving, then the other
70%.
30% is like no, the 20% is like to other commitments like rent, groceries,
Mm-hmm.
and the 10% is into savings.
Mm-hmm.
That's how the money is spent every
That's a
single
good
month.
budget. 10% is the bare minimum for me to go into savings. At the end of the year, I maintain a strict amount of money in my usable account. Anything above that goes into savings.
That's good.
Like if I have,
Good.
let's say, let's put the max cap at 100 ringgit, right? I'm not saying it is 100. It's probably more or less than that. You don't know me. Let's say max amount I have in my bank is 100. If I have 120, 20 bucks goes into savings. If I have 5,000, all of that money minus 100 bucks goes into savings. Like I only need that amount because that tells me that is the amount that I'm allowed to spend on myself. It's very strict.
That's good. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. So there's this opinion that your lifestyle increases as the income you make increases. I'm like, not really. I mean, your lifestyle changes because you as a person change. I I think that if you felt like staying as you are without going overboard, you can maintain the same expenditure. I don't believe lifestyle definitely changes based on the amount of income you make. I honestly do not believe that. I think it's a con. I think it's a way to make you feel um like spending the money that you have is a legitimate form of societal expectation. But really it's not that.
I think I've seen people more higher their salaries and they upgrade themselves to even bigger stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Then the commitment gets higher and then it kind of like gets higher. And they get a raise, they buy more stuff.
Yeah, but that's
Commit.
their decision. You don't have to change from a Myvi to a BMW just because you got higher pay. It's a
And
car.
most
It
are
takes you from point A to point B. As long as it is generally eco-friendly, it has a low carbon footprint, and it is not a gas guzzler, by all means. But for clout, increasing what you have just for clout is ridiculous.
that's
Who?
what happens.
Uh-huh.
That's what happens to the majority.
This is why I don't have normal friends. All my friends are weird. These normie bitches. I heard a very funny term. My brother was telling me. Apparently, Zoomers call people NPCs. Like this person has NPC energy, and I lost it. I was like, I love that phrase. I love calling people other. I like the idea of calling somebody who is just so normal that they're an NPC. There's nothing special about them. And so I've decided I too shall call random people NPCs because they're boring. Oh my god. I think money is such a incomprehensible thing that I'm gonna bring it back to Joyce when you said I don't understand we need money, like right in the beginning when I was like, okay, imagine we don't need money. Imagine money doesn't exist. Like we are so intrinsically tied to this idea of commerce that it is difficult for a lot of people to go, what if we don't have money? I'm like, then you just don't. Like if you want to go eat, you go eat. If you want to feed people, you feed people. It's like it's such a simple concept. But because we're so entrenched in this economy, this style, that it's hard for us to divorce our brain from it. To the point where people tell other people, yeah, if you give people free money, people will stop working. You know what happens when people have a lot of money? They innovate. They do things for fun. When you do things for fun, you make things better because you're not stressed. I wish people understood this. Happy people make nicer things. Happy people are not stressed. Happy people are happy. I don't really have any other input for this because money is such a yeah, money is such a interesting topic. But it's also such a heavy topic because you have nuances of class, identity, politics, and the fact that we have the budget. I'm gonna really quickly Google Malaysian budget 2023.
But the topic of money is really depressing.
I mean, it's depressing to a point, but it's also very liberating to discuss how flawed the system is. Oh, budget 2023 highlights. Let's go. Suddenly it's political. I'm very political. I do not fence it. Okay, propose to introduce a luxury goods tax starting this year. Very good. Plans to impose excise duty on liquid gel nicotine products. Blah blah blah. 2, 3. Okay. Immediately retender 6 flood mitigation okay. Disaster management preparedness. 150 million for NADMA. Okay, so in 2021 there was a huge flood that happened in Ululangat, and everybody was wondering where NADMA is. And my joke was, they don't care because it's not my problem. And now they're getting even more money to do nothing. I don't know, man. Like they have a lot to prove. They have a fuck ton to prove. Bomba, yes, give Bomba all the money. Everybody loves Bomba. Abang Bomba is very hot. The ecological fiscal transfer for biodiversity and biodiversity conservation allocation to state governments to be increased to 150 million. I'm looking for stuff that is Jabatan Kebajikan Masyarakat and Ministry of Health. Dilapidated schools, federal roads, rural roads. Scam. Okay. Okay.
Nope.
Okay. Women, Family, and Community Development Ministry to set up child development departments to provide comprehensive support services for children. That's good. What's a national dual training scheme? I don't know what this is. Nah. There's a lot. There's a lot. Income tax rate. Okay, 2.5 billion for public infrastructure projects in Sabah and Sarawak. That's good. They've been waiting forever. Yeah, not much. I think I'm gonna have to wait and read the full thing tomorrow or whenever it comes out. Usually we'll get messages regarding it. Yeah, I think this will be a short and sweet session about money because I honestly don't have any other input aside from the questions that I asked that has already been answered. Would be good to just rehash everything we've said before we close out for the year. Like, we are on the last session today, right now. Ina, we have had a great run for season 1. Do you have any closing things you wanna let the audience, the public know?
Just hope that you guys learn a bit about today.
Apa dia?
Hello?
Hello? Yeah, I couldn't hear what you just said. What?
Wait, let me find that another one earbuds. What is it?
Earbuds.
I just hope that
I'm also thinking of,
everyone learn a bit about SME, how does we live
Yeah.
about
I think with SMA, like, I want to know what people know about SMA. SMA is such a delicate disease topic because not many people know about it, but somehow I feel like so many people have SMA. Like, it's just wild that people don't know about it. But then I say that, and I'm pretty sure my friends don't really know about SMA as well. And I cannot be bothered to teach them, honestly. Like, every day is just like, do you even know, bro? Like, we've been friends for years, but do you even know?
what is SME?
Yeah. Like, I call it waya rosa. Like a degradation of copper wires between the distribution box and the machine.
You know what? You don't have to worry about that because my caregiver, my ex-caregiver, she took care of me for 5 years, but she doesn't even know what is SMA. Even though you explain it to her, explain it from A to Z, and she's still like, I don't know what that is.
Yeah, if you want to understand, you already understand it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Feel like that's the thing with people. If you wanted to understand something, you would. That said, a lot of people don't seek the path of enlightenment. They are very okay with being an NPC. Joyce, do you have anything to say before we close out?
Don't be an NPC.
Don't be an NPC. Like, you only have 3 standard responses to a question. What are you doing? I can see you. Get out of here. Basically Skyrim. I think that's a pretty good sort of closing argument. Do not be an NPC. Please take care of yourself. COVID still exists. Mask up. Although sometimes I do not mask up, but I mask up when we're in a very public enclosed space. Mask up.
Yeah.
Be healthy. Drink water. Sleep. If your boss tells you to stay for overtime for free, tell him to fuck off. And fight the good fight. Do not sit on the fence. Be on either side, because fence sitters are always beneficial to the wrong side. We love you very much. We want you to be very healthy and happy, and we will be back in the next season, probably with guests, where we will talk about more serious things and maybe sometimes not serious things. Thank you so much for listening. We enjoyed having you for the entire time. And goodbye. Until next time.
That's all. Thank you for listening. Bye.